Joe's too critical of The Simpsons. Oh, hi. You're listening to Joe's Too Critical of The Simpsons. It is a podcast in which I summarize the most recent episode of The Simpsons by doing a goofy-ass radio play where I do silly voices that sort of sound like the characters. Sometimes. The voices come from my original... I said that many times, and it's wrong. It's not really original because it's based off an existing intellectual property. But I have a series called The Simpsons, spelled Simpsums, in which I do the voices, and I do some bad, if you can even call it, animation over it. I stopped doing The Simpsons because I got lazy, but now I do this radio play. But if you want to watch The Simpsons before I fucking jump the shark and start doing this, you can go to watch them on YouTube. If you're not already listening to this on YouTube, there are links all over my SoundCloud page. If you are listening to this on YouTube, you can go to SoundCloud to download an audio version of this. There are download links on all the files I upload. After I do the summary of the episode, I do some long-winded criticism of the episode, and then I do some news, which tends to be where I piss people off by being a fucking SJW or whatever the fuck. Anyway. Alright, yeah, I think that's it. Let's go right into the summary. This is Season 27, Episode 15, Lisa the Veterinarian, and it aired on March 6th. 2016. Here's the summary! Guess what? Everything I just said before was a lie. There's no summary this time, because I tried to get out, but they pulled me back in. I did another Simpsons. I did a Simpsons of the most recent episode. I think I don't know, it's been months since I did the last one. There's no way in hell I'm doing that twice in two slightly different ways. So the summary is audio-visual. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud, I am going to put the link to the summary on YouTube. Yeah, and I suggest watching that. And it's the funny thing is I'm recording this before I make that Simpsons. So this is me putting way too much confidence in myself that I'm going to get that Simpsons done, as well as edit this and put both up in like a timely fashion, ideally before the next Simpsons airs. But yeah, there's a new Simpsons. Holy shit. If you're listening to it on YouTube, I'm very surprised if you did not already know about that Simpsons, since most people prefer I do those over these. But hey, the link is in the description, regardless of whether you're listening to this on YouTube or SoundCloud. So fuck all that. I'm not doing another summary, you man. You crazy? Let's go straight to criticism, yeah? All right. Now for criticism. Criticism of this episode. I obviously thought this was a deplorable episode because it made me so upset that I did a Simpsons, which is how you know I'm real mad. It did have a bunch of jokes I laughed at. That's the thing, and that's the thing that always gets glossed over when I do a Simpsons. I don't include any of the things that made me laugh because that would be pointless. It wouldn't fit the format of it. But I should, in fairness to the episode, since I'm doing this podcast thing, I can say, yeah, I laughed. The things I laughed at was when Miss Hoover gives Lisa the hamster. She says, you should watch him. I'd take him with me, but I'm doing Jell-O shots with former students. That's all right. She's a, fucked up lady. There's also this, I don't know, this is a dumb joke, but like the first thing Lisa does, the vet has her clean smocks. He goes, find a clean smock. And she goes, I can't find a clean smock. And then he goes, well, then your first job is to clean the smocks. And then she cleans the smocks and goes, okay, I'm ready. And he goes, oh, it's a shame to ruin such a clean smock, but let's go. It's really dumb. It's a very gentle joke, but it's fine. There's also a very brief moment. Marge says, Homer, I told you not to eat chili out of the colander. And Homer's there eating chili out of a colander. It's chili seeping out onto him. And he says, it's pronounced calendar. Which, again, pretty dumb. Doesn't really make sense if you think about it. But just kind of, I guess the notion that Homer, instead of accepting his mistake, just takes this as a moment to try and be superior. Try to be pretentious and better than Marge. Oh, it's calendar, even though he clearly has no idea what she's even talking about or referring to at all. Or unless, I don't know, I just thought about this. Does that mean he thinks it's called a calendar? Maybe he does, and he just doesn't care. It's one or the other. Either he's like not listening at all, but just found, that's the way I took it. He's not even listening to the sentence she said. He's just correcting the final word. Martin has a birthday party, and it's a quick visual gag. And you remember the Simpsons used to do those gags. They still do them, where they put a sign up, and you're supposed to you sometimes even have to freeze frame it just to read it, and the signs are very clever. And they still do it all the time, but the signs tend to be a lot less clever now. I remember one of the ones, Homer Badman, I always say is like my favorite episode. Homer Badman has one where it says, the sign outside the candy convention is something, I think it's like candy convention room 11, and then underneath it is something like about a rat poison. I think the room has been poisoned for rats. It says something like that, and then it says room 1 with an exclamation point. Which is a hard joke actually to get when I speak it out loud, isn't it? But it's very funny. Anyway, that's from a good episode. This one, Martin's birthday, they have a banner hanging over the front of his house. Which, by the way, it's a little weird they went to Martin's party, isn't it? I don't think that's normal. Like, it's that weird thing where it's like all the characters just kind of interact with each other no matter what now, even though, you know, back in the day, why Bart and Lisa, were they friends with Martin? I don't think. Nobody is friends with Martin, right? Like, why would he have... He only got people to come to his pool party because he had a bigger pool. In that summer episode, but whatever. The banner on the front of Martin's house reads, "Martin, you and this banner are 1 year older. Happy birthday." His family's cheap, I guess. Although not like cheap enough. They got him a huge banner, but I guess they just thought, it's like a big old banner over the front of the house, but they just thought, we're only going to spend this money once. Another thing is Nelson brings a present to the party. It's a very big gift box, and he just goes over to the present table and opens his up, and it's just an empty box, and he just puts everybody else's presents inside his giant present box to make it look like he got Martin all the presents there. Yeah, it's a clever one. Now, in terms of bad things, bad jokes, they're everywhere. They are fucking everywhere. More, again, this is a situation, the plot is what's horrible. But, you know, tied into that is the plot trying to be funny and completely failing. So, the first thing is, and I posted this both on Twitter and Grumbler. Sorry, Twatter and Grumbler. Sorry, I pronounced one of those words wrong. Literally the first minute, it's about a water park. The first minute, there is a part of little kids jumping off a diving board that is too close to the ceiling, and they're smacking their heads on the ceiling, leaving blood stains on the ceiling, and then they fall into the pool, and then there's blood stains on their heads. Like, yeah. It's just for the Simpsons, you know, for that to be in the first minute. It's just like, this is a different fucking show. And again, as I always say, when the Simpsons really fails me, I think of Family Guy. The opening of this episode, it was just like, holy shit, what, like, you must be trying to beat Family Guy. Like, the first 4 minutes of this episode, children receiving bloody head trauma. Then Bart's joke about you have to roll around in the snow. He says dingus. Roll your dingus around the snow. Your wiener in the snow. Which, alright. I mean, it's okay, like, to the extent that it's Bart. I'm okay generally with Bart being a little kid and actually acting like a kid and being kind of a jerk and talking about wieners and whatnot. But the idea's a little bit extreme. I just don't like telling everybody to roll their wiener in the snow. It's kind of a fucking, I don't know. It's a little bit too much for me to believe that, like, it's such a weird, that's Bart's plan is very odd to me. For one thing, it doesn't get everybody out of the pool. If you think about it, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because he gets a bunch of the guys. He gets all the men to crash through the windows and leave to roll their dinguses in the snow, but why does it affect the women? Aside from the fact that they're obviously like, oh shit, what's going on? Why would girls leave Bart does this to make the line shorter for a ride. Everybody leaves. Nobody's inside when this happens, because everybody goes outside to what's going on out here with these dinguses in the snow. Like, I don't... And plus there's a joke that I honestly don't get. I don't get this, and I don't know if I'm too innocent or what the fuck. Somebody explain this to me. One of the people rolling the dinguses in the snow is Wiggum, naked, as is Lou, that cop, the other cop. They're just sitting in the snow with their wieners in the snow, and Wiggum says, Lou, I need a big favor from you. He's looking down at his dick, saying, I need a big favor from you. And then Lou says, man, they don't train you for this at the academy. And then Wiggum says, well, they should. I don't get what he needs from him. I don't get what it is. He's just like kneeling in the snow with his dick in the snow, looking at his dick saying, I need a favor from you. What is he gonna have him do? I don't know what he's gonna have him do. He needs help rolling his dick around the snow. His dick is frozen in the snow. What's happening? I don't actually know what's happening. Not funny. Pretty like overall kind of just insane. The whole thing's insane. It's like a bunch of naked men out in the snow. Like I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like Bart pranking. Bart's pranks don't. It's too stupid. It's got too much stupidity and too much like trying to be, I guess, shocking, gross. Like Bart got everybody naked. He got them to crash through they jump through the windows. Whatever. I don't know. I don't believe any of it. It just seems purely shock value. And Nelson, they have this running thing in this particular episode of Nelson just loving Lisa. There's multiple jokes about it. When Lisa gives CPR, gives mouth-to-mouth to a raccoon, which again, first 4 minutes, children, bloody head trauma, dicks in the snow, Lisa giving mouth-to-mouth to a raccoon, 4 minutes in. Bart says, Lisa's got a boyfriend, and Nelsa goes like, a raccoon, she would be my boyfriend if I had a real bathing suit, and he's wearing underwear, and the underwear says rental on it as well, which is, I guess, sort of funny, that he got rental underwear. But it's a running thing, too. There's like 2 other scenes. I didn't write them down, but there's 2 other scenes shortly after of Nelson mentioning his, like, love for Lisa. I know they dated, and I know they did the Bart Hood episode claim they end up together. At least they're dating later in life. But it's just weird they hit that so hard. Oh, suddenly, but remember, Nelson really loves Lisa. I mean, we know that about Milhouse, but does Nelson always love Lisa? It's a really weird thing. They add all these jokes about Nelson being in love with Lisa. Okay. And, oh yeah, and there's like another just gross, weird, because it's one of these things where it's like, does it fit the character? And I'm like, I don't get it. It's one thing Lisa says to the vet, she suggests, I can take the animal's temperature. I know what that means, and I'm up for it. So she wants to stick things up animal assholes, is what's evident. I don't... It's not like so much that, oh, gross, Lisa's talking about sticking things up animals' assholes. It's more that she's super excited about it. I'm up for it. Like, she says it all like crazy excited. Like, what is that supposed to imply about Lisa? That she's a furry? What are we saying? Like, I just don't. What are we saying? I don't know what you're implying. I don't know why Lisa's excited to stick thermometers in animals' assholes. Don't get it. What's it mean? Anyway, the big problem here, of course, the plot was a fucking nightmare. The main problem was the B plot, which is Marge cleaning up crime scenes, violent crime scenes, a car crash with a dead guy hanging out of it. You see a dead man's arm, and it just kind of like fades to, like it's time lapse. Oh, Marge cleaned up that crime scene. I guess she moved a dead body out of the car. It's just, and then later she goes to a hotel room to clean up a crime scene, and like an intestine falls from the ceiling, and then a heart, and then a foot, and Marge kind of goes, I'm like, she's a little bit, I'll just clean this crime scene tape first, and so she's a little bit upset, but she'll go clean those guts up later. Like, it's just not fucking funny. It's too fucked up. It's like that episode, Love is in the N2O2, whatever, the Frank one, where the B plot was about drugging old people and them hallucinating. This one's even more fucked up. It's about Marge having genuine trauma, massive trauma, from having to clean up crime scenes, and it's like played for laughs, and it's not funny. It's not a funny idea. It's it's too fucked up. And then they're like still playing it for laughs, like she's drinking whiskey. Marge is drinking now. It's fucking up her, because it's not funny, because it's one of these things that's like, it gets cleared up at the end, and they try to, first of all, they treat it like a joke the whole time, and then they try to stick emotional payoff onto it, which, again, exactly like that other episode, old people, it's old people hallucinating, haha, isn't it funny? And then at the end, it's about his love for your grandchildren. This one, it's the same shit. It's Marge loves Lisa, and she wants to help Lisa out, so now she's emotionally present again. Like, it's too... Sorry, if you're somebody who cleaned up crime scenes for a while, that's kind of shit that might haunt you your entire life. And they've just presented it as, like, a crazy week for The Simpsons. Marge had a crazy time recently. Like, it's such a weird plot, and it's like, the joke of it is supposed to be, like, presented as, well, that's what Marge does. She cleans things up. She goes like, oh, it's just another mess. Like, I just clean things up. That's what I do. Big deal. But then, oh, it's traumatic. Like, ugh. God. Like, Homer's saying things like, there's a line he says, like, I want my Marge back. I think he says that. It's something to that effect. And it's like, fucking Christ. You're treating it like a sitcom plot where, oh, I want my Marge back from her horrible, traumatic life of seeing, like, the true horrors of death. Yeah, I just want my Marge back. Big deal. Like, it's such... They just have these lines that they deliver so casually, and they just present as another cartoony day in The Simpsons. And it's like, no, this is a fucked up thing. You can't just make this your stupid sitcom plot. This would, like, ruin Marge's life a little bit. Whatever. So bad. Lisa's plot about becoming a vet is fine in terms of it being a basic concept. The idea of Lisa saving an animal, she thinks it's cool, so she volunteers as a vet. That's fine. That's actually a great idea for a plot. That makes tons of sense to me. Too bad the progression in this is fucking weird. I mean, I have to say I didn't see this garbage coming. That's for sure. The conflict becomes Lisa becomes overconfident at fixing animals, which I mean, okay, it just seems weird to me. Like, because it's a little hard to explain, but, like, Lisa really cares about animals, right? And I know she gets full of herself. That's fine. You can have a plot about Lisa getting overconfident, hoisted by her own petard. Fine. You can make it that she got too occupied with fixing everybody else's animals and she forgot about the hamster, I guess. Fine. It's just that the lesson kind of here seems to be that Lisa actually loses sight of taking care of animals in general. It seems to be saying, like, Lisa doesn't even care about the animals anymore. She cares about her power, her ability to play God. Like, she actually has a line that's something to the effect of, I choose whether they live or die, like something like that. And it's like, okay, I don't see that happening with Lisa. Like, the overconfident, I could see it. So they have the thing where, like, she won't let Mr. Burns take his dog home. I'm going to confiscate your dog because she's overconfident and overprotective. She thinks she's the only one who knows how to take care of this dog. And that's fine, but it's just that she seems so callous towards the animals, too. It's not like, oh, I care so much about these animals that I have to Like, I could see that plot. They could tie her overprotectiveness, they could tie the egotism to her overprotectiveness. They could kind of make it like a paranoia. She's afraid. She's seeing all these sick animals. She's afraid nobody's taking care of these animals right. I have to be the one who does it. This might be too dark. I don't know. But, like, in terms of Lisa's character, that would make more sense to me. Lisa is, she's genuine. She cares too much about animals is what I think should happen, because it doesn't feel right. This doesn't, it feels like she should be freaking out because she's worried about the animals. You can tie her ego into that. I'm freaking about the animals. I'm the only one who understands how they need to be taken care of. Fine. But they don't have her freaking out. It just seems like I'm the only one who can take care of the animals because I'm now a asshole. I'm full of myself and I'm an asshole. Like, again, that's part of Lisa's character. She can be full of herself. She can be an asshole. But I also think she really cares about animals. I don't see this happening. I don't see her going, I choose whether they live or die. Like, she cares more about animals than that. It's weird. Doesn't really work. And honestly, a big part of why I hate this episode so much is just the opening. That the opening is so terrible and insane. The first 4 minutes are insane. Bloody-headed children, dinguses in the snow. Homer is standing naked in the public pool after he's rubbed his cock in the snow with just a bit of snow magically over his dick, just right in the middle. Like, they just don't give a shit. Like, he's just in a public place watching Lisa give CPR to a raccoon with snow on his cock. There's, like, other people around. You can see, like, background characters apparently just staring at Homer's naked ass. I know Homer's been naked in public, but just the notion that, everyone just got naked and now I'm just standing in the middle of this public place with my ass out and some strategically placed snow, which also, like, what, just this complete, it's just this situation where nothing feels real. This does not feel like a real universe at all. These are just weird, crazy cartoon people who can stand there with snow magically clinging to their cocks in a public place while other people just kind of look on and there's a raccoon. Let's watch this girl give CPR to a raccoon now after we just had there's fish in our cocks scare. It's just madness. It's too much madness. And I know that's what they're trying to do, that thing the Simpsons used to do where the opening was a real non sequitur and didn't really pertain to the rest of the episode, but it's too weird. It's too fucking weird. It doesn't add up. It just feels like the weirdest shit they could think of. And also, I think the fact that there are people surround Lisa and and watch her give CPR to this raccoon as though this is the most interesting thing happening right now, I guess. Okay. Like a whole bunch of shit just happened, but now let's watch this happen. Okay, fine, I don't know, whatever. And they're all watching, they're all crowding on Lisa, they're all filming her on their phone. She gets on the news. I think they're trying to imply that part of why Lisa becomes so full of herself in this episode is because she feels famous about being a vet. But that's not really well communicated. That's quite badly communicated as a theme, because it seems to flip-flop between she likes the fame of being seen as someone who can save the lives of animals, and then sometimes it's just she just feels the power of having life or death in her hands. I don't know. They flip back and forth. It starts out being about fame. The kids at school think she's cool. And then it just switches over to I just feel great when I give this dog a shot. I just feel great when I get this goat, when I cure this goat's peanut allergy. The goat has a peanut allergy. I didn't mention it in the summary exactly. But yeah. So it doesn't really add up. Like if they wanted to be about fame, they should have made it more. They have people bring the animals into the vet. They should have capitalized. They should have focused more on people being like, wow, Lisa's a really good vet. Maybe word should have spread more. They should have shown people talking about Lisa being an awesome vet. Then it could be about fame getting to her head. But then, we're kind of doing the My Sister, My Sitter episode from season 8. But, instead she's getting pompous about being able to be a young babysitter. I know a lot of people don't like that episode. I think they think it's too fucked up. I remember liking it. I remember it being a little bit shocking. But I also remember thinking, that's an episode that goes to a fucked up place and kind of goes, knows it. That's the difference here. It knows it. I think it knows it's super fucked up when Bart passes out in that episode, that one's actually kind of distressing at times. This one doesn't know anything. This has no idea what it's doing. And the main problem again, the Marge plot. The Marge cleans up crime scenes and she's having trauma. Horrible. That's a horrible plot. The Lisa plot doesn't really work. And the first 4 minutes made me want to die. Good Lord. Fuck. That's it. Some funny jokes. I give this episode out of... Is it one of the worst I've ever seen? Maybe. It might be. Out of... I don't like it. Cool news. I just want to say, because I made a Simpsons, this does not mean the Simpsons is back. I'm not going to do them regularly. I did that one specifically because it was really horrible. And I am, I guess, still doing these podcasts. But yeah, Simpsons, it was horrible. And I felt like I could do it. I wanted to try to do it really quickly. And the funny thing is, again, I'm talking about this as though it's past tense. It's a beautiful lie, I'm telling myself, because I'm really going to try to make this Simpsons in 2 days, 3 days. I want to do it quickly because otherwise I don't want to do it. And I am still working on that other video, which who knows, forever and a day it'll take. Yeah, I think that's it. The only other thing I'll say, because this seems to be the place for it, somebody made a joke about me being, I guess it was a joke, confirmed on the last video, I confirmed that I must love the new female Ghostbusters movie. Okay. Because I said just put minorities, which I guess women technically qualify as minorities in terms of media. In your movies, just do it because you can do it. Just fucking do it. Well, I've said this on Twitter. I just don't care. I grew up with Ghostbusters. It meant a lot to me as a kid. I really love it a lot. I haven't seen them in a very long time, but the first movie is very, very funny. I actually like Ghostbusters 2, but I don't think I ever saw it when I was older. I didn't know, like, I realize now everybody's like, oh, it's really awful, and I'm like, I don't know. As a kid, I thought it was good. Obviously not as good as the first one. I gotta watch them again, I guess. But it's just, it doesn't nothing ruins my fucking childhood. I don't care. You can do whatever you want to my characters. I don't care. I don't care. Make them all ladies. Go ahead. Whatever. The thing that bothers me is when people, and I basically said this last time, it's when you're boring. You're doing the same shit over and over. And to the extent that, we've already had the Ghostbusters, do we need them again? Maybe not. But I will appreciate the fact that I guess it's not a remake, although people seem to be saying it looks a little like they're retreading a lot of the same stuff. Okay, maybe. I tend to find remakes pointless, if the original was good, and that's people usually don't remake bad movies. Although that doesn't make much sense to me. People probably should. You should remake movies that had a seed of a good idea, but weren't very good. That's what a remake probably should do. That's often how adaptations work. Like, if you ever seen Paprika, the anime, by the late, unfortunately, Satoshi Kon. Paprika's a great movie. I think it's one of my favorite movies. The book is fucking terrible. Terrible book. It's amazingly, I was surprised, it's translated to English. It's a horrible book. But I think it's one of those situations when you look sometimes at adaptations, you realize that the director of the adaptation that you enjoy saw something in this book, saw an element of it to draw out that personally I wouldn't have seen. I wouldn't have looked at this book and gone, this has to be a movie, because it is such a clusterfuck, that book. But yeah, so if you can draw on a good element and make something out of it, that's great. But anyway, I don't see much of a point in remaking Ghostbusters, but I don't think it is a remake. But I don't feel that deeply that this Ghostbusters, even if it's not good, is going to affect the older Ghostbusters, because it's not really a sequel either. The sad thing is when you trot something out and you build on it, like why, Arrested Development Season 4 is such a disappointment, because that sort of does, to an extent, affect, it retroactively fucks up the older Arrested Development, because now you're forced to kind of consider that it didn't end on Season 3. It ended with this fucking garbage in Season 4, and possibly beyond if they manage to bring that garbage back again. And that's upsetting, like when you think about, the way the creator apparently intended this story to go, it went into this terrible direction, became a terrible show. That's unfortunate. Ghostbusters, I don't know, because it's like a reboot, because it's just, it feels different to me, so it doesn't affect me. I don't care. Make them all women. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I really don't care. It doesn't. And I want to state, it was very important to me as a kid. I love that movie. I had the game for the Commodore 64. It was an awesome game. I played it loads. It's a weird business simulator for some fucking reason, but it's a really good game. Yeah. And I don't care. Yeah, they're all women. So what? Who cares? I mean, I honestly, I might be... maybe you're right. Maybe I am confirmed as liking girl Ghostbusters, because if they just brought them back and they were all dudes again, I would go, oh, is this a remake? What's the point? So the fact that they changed an element, sure. I guess you're right. I guess they've tricked me. It worked on me. But no, I'll say this too. The trailer's not very good. I didn't laugh. I guess there's a that's going to leave a mark joke. Oh, that's going to leave a mark. There's one of those jokes, and those are garbage. I don't know why you would even include that anymore. It's such a bad cliche. Didn't laugh. There was something very limp about the trailer. I think the way they changed the theme song, I don't know. I might be making this up, but it just sounds like the theme song's starting but never finishing. It keeps like popping in, going like it doesn't finish, and that makes it almost seem like you're waiting and waiting for something to happen, and it doesn't happen. I think the ghosts look cool. I think so the action might be kind of cool. But, I'll go see it. It made me a little bit excited just in terms of, Ghostbusters meant a lot to me, so it tickled my nostalgia. They tricked me. They got me. But people who keep saying it's a cash grab, okay, like, let's bring the movie back with women. Like, people keep claiming that the putting the ladies in is what's a cash grab about it. I don't think so. I mean, if it were a cash grab, they would they wouldn't rock the boat. They would just bring it back exactly as it was. I mean, it's a cash grab to the extent every, restarting of a franchise is, but I don't really think so. It worked on me, I guess. You're right. Yeah, I guess it made me go, oh, it looks different. So it tricked some people, but I think by and large, no. I mean, I think they would have just left it largely untouched. They would have just gone there, let's bring it back the way it was. I don't think putting women in the lead roles is a cash grab move. I don't, you know. I just think it's a thing they did. and I also think Paul Feig, whether he succeeds or not, Paul Feig is somebody whose intentions are pure. I believe he wants to honor the franchise, much like he did with the Peanuts movie, which I haven't seen and I hear is not that great, but I also never give a shit about Peanuts, so yeah, I think he means well. He might not do well, but he means well. So whatever, I'm not that excited, but I'm going to go see it. If I'm being honest, the women in it are not people I have particularly found doing funny things in the past. I don't think they're that funny. I mean, they're from SNL, you know? I don't think most SNL people are funny, although I guess Bill Murray was an SNL guy, right? But whatever. It's based more on the writing, and the trailer did not demonstrate it had very good writing. But we'll see. We'll see. If anything, the ghosts look pretty good. Oh, and is it racist? Is it racist? I know now the other thing is it's racist. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. I guess Leslie Jones doesn't think it's racist, but it does seem lazy. Yeah, seems a bit lazy that she's the street smart one. It's also funny. It's a funny thing to be like, I know the streets of New York. Like, the idea of even introducing a street smart character. If you know New York now, New York is so fucking rich. Yeah, you can find some bad areas, but, people presenting New York as, like, a place where somebody needs to be street smart. Yeah, right. What to find the best, like, overpriced falafel place? New York is so rich. It's just like, there's an absurdity to how New York is still presented as this like rough and tumble neighborhood. Like Jessica Jones is pulling that shit too, and I think Daredevil also, right? This notion like, oh, I'm in Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is fine. Hell's Kitchen is a completely pleasant area. It's not an exciting area. It's one of the more boring areas of Manhattan, but it's ooh, Hell's Kitchen. You mean, oh, that area in the middle of like the richest city in the world? Okay. Yeah, good. Street smart. So that's my feeling on Ghostbusters. Might be fine. And the fact that there are women in it, I don't care. I would have seen it either way. I'll say that. If it wasn't women, I would have seen it. It's a Ghostbusters movie, you know? But maybe they did trick me. You might be right. You win this round, Gamergate. All right. Yeah. I'll see you next time. Ah! I've been kind of doing a spin. Yeah. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.